Hi, good day. So, today I want to discuss the topic of being critical to the messages you get through divination, whatever you divine for yourself or somebody divines for you. Now, I believe in divination. I've been doing it most of my life. Like I've said, I used to play with my mother's pendulum when I was a little girl, and it felt completely natural to me. And I got my first set of oracle cards. I got them from my grandmother, if I don't remember completely wrong, when I was about 12 or 13. So, yeah. However, something that has always bothered me when people ask me to divine for them is that so many people then take whatever my cards or my crystal ball or tea leaves or whatever methods I use, take whatever they say as the complete and absolute truth. And to me that's a lot of responsibility, and besides, I don't think you can do that. First of all, you have this about hits and misses. Even the best diviners have about 85 to 95% hits, meaning that even the best at the best of their days have 10 to 5% chance of being completely and utterly wrong. Secondly, you have the interpretation, so that the interpretation, while it might sort of be a hit, it might not, it might be just partly right, and so on. So you can be completely wrong. The other part of it is that I don't believe in a set fate. I don't believe that everything we do has been determined by some supernatural force, and nothing we do can change that. Because if it was like that, what would be the point? Then we could just all sit down and just let life play out for us like a replay button on a computer game. So I think that while I do believe in faith in that divine influences, our own choices, and the path we are heading down will set certain probabilities. I do not think this is unchangeable truth. That means that if I, for example, see in my cards that you will come into a great deal of money, and you will get this money by studying hard and getting a good job. If you then think, oh boy, I'm gonna be rich, I know I can just do nothing, then it won't happen, because then you change that path you're heading down. That what I see in the cards is just, it's a suggestion of what might happen if you continue down the path that you are currently following. And the same if you see something bad. There are a lot of horror stories that are based around people trying to, horror stories and fairy tales were based around people who try to avoid fate and then ultimately being unsuccessful. There are several versions of the idea of some person goes to a remote location, and because some horrible doom are foretold them, and they wait there for 10 years or 20 years and so on, and then that's the exact location where they meet their ends. Like there's one fairy tale, I don't remember exactly which it is. Anyway, there's a prince, and he has been told that he will be killed by a certain man on his 30th birthday. So he goes and hides out and waits for months, and eventually another man comes to his remote hut, and they get talking, and the prince says, "Today's my 30th birthday, and tomorrow I'm going back to the palace because I managed to avoid fate." And the other man said, "Oh yes, let's celebrate." So they gather some fruit, and the prince's guest starts cutting up the fruit to serve the prince, and then he stumbles and accidentally kills the prince with the knife, and it later revealed that he is the man who was supposed to kill the prince, so that if the prince hadn't gone to that location, he would never have met him. Now, of course, this is a cautionary tale for the self-fulfilling prophecy, but it is also the kind of, if you're destined to die, then you have to die, and so on. And many people get very scared by that. So that if bad things are told for their life, for the outcome of their relationship, and so on, they just sit down and think, oh well, that was that. And I think that's very dangerous. So, in my opinion, no matter what are foretold, it can always be changed. And yes, I know that a lot of videos and books and web pages and so on mention what you should and should not tell someone you are divining for. Like, you shouldn't speak about serious illness, you shouldn't speak about death, and so on. And to a certain degree, I agree. At least if these are people you don't know well. However, I think it's actually more important that those that are being that are having their fortunes told also take some responsibility and actually take the information that the winner is giving them and think it over, and then try to, if the outcome is favorable, try to work towards it, and if it isn't favorable, think that this is a warning, but it isn't a given that it will happen, and then actually work to prevent it. And I also think that it is important to remember that it might not even be true at all. So I guess this video is a bit of a sigh of frustration, because I like divining for people. I like putting the abilities I have worked hard for to use for the good of everyone. However, I feel very uncomfortable when people I don't know very well ask me about it, because I had so many negative experiences when people either get very, very scared or just take it way, way, way too seriously. Now, like I said, I don't think that you shouldn't take divination seriously, because I think it is a real way to gain information both about yourself and about the past, the present, and also the future. But I think that you have to also be reasonable and not completely buy into it. And this also goes for people that go to professional diviners. I know that a lot of atheists and alike, those that criticize the alternative movement, go completely ballistic and say, oh, but people that tell fortunes and so on, they are just after sucking people's money. And I think that there are a lot of really serious practitioners out there, but you have to keep your wits about you when you go to visit such a person. If they if they tell you just what you want to hear, then chances are they are just trying to make you feel good so that you will have a good time, and you might not want to take that too seriously, or they might not be seeing anything and they just go with filler. If they are very unspecific, then they might see something. I mean, several times when I do divinations, I can't come up with specific. I sometimes do, but sometimes it is pretty vague. But so I'm not saying that you should necessarily say that this medium is worthless if they can't come up with a specific information. A medium, diviner, whatever method people use. But unless that person has given you very specific information, you shouldn't immediately assume that they can do what they claim they can do either. And also, you should be very aware, in a very cautious, if someone tells you that you have to come back, that they are almost seeing what you should do to get rich or some other such things, but you have to visit them again and again and again, then that is most likely a scam. Sometimes a person will say that I can't see this now, I have to ask you to come back later because I need to go into meditation for it and so on. But unless they then take the new consultation as if they ask you for a lot more money for that and so on, then you should be very cautious. And unless this is a person that you know do good work, I don't think it's advisable to come back and give them more money. And most importantly, don't accept anything that somebody tells you as the ultimate truth. Take it for what it is, advice. It is advice and probabilities and nothing more. You are in control of your fate. And while you might not be able to control every outcome of your life, neither are you just some sort of observer, some sort of doll that greater powers play with. You can take the reins of your life, and you should not let some divination take that away. If you hear something about your future that are favorable or unfavorable, then you should determine what you want with your life and take what divination tells you, whether you do it for yourself or someone does it for you, as advice. And I also want to mention when people divine about the past or present events or what other people are doing. I think that, for example, sometimes you get the information, you get the strong idea that, well, the feeling, the energy, that, for example, somebody's partner are unfaithful to them. Now you can debate whatever or not you should then tell the person you are divining for. But if you get the information through supernatural means that a partner is cheating on you, that you are sick, that some sort of things, you should not just believe it. You can take it as under advisement. You can use that to check up on things, but you shouldn't just, if somebody reads you cards and say, oh, your partner is unfaithful to you, you shouldn't just storm home and accuse your partner. You might wonder if this is a person that is usually accurate that tells you this. Be on the lookout. You shouldn't just accept it because people are sometimes wrong. And the same if somebody sees some sort of disease. Now, I think it never hurts if you can afford it, if someone say you should be careful with such and such illness, actually have it checked out by a physician. Because you can never be too certain. However, if somebody says you definitely do not have this illness, I don't think you should immediately accept it You might take it as an indication that you might not have it, but you should still have a doctor check you out. So basically what this rant is about is divination is an amazing tool, and no matter what sort of system you use, it can give enormous benefits and enormous insights into both yourself, others, the future, past, present, all sorts of things. But you have to use it with wisdom, and you have to you cannot just accept this as complete fact. You have to accept it as advice. Well, that is all I wanted to say. I hope you have a great day, and blessed be.